all about? Okay. The number one goal of this free community is to help my connections, my LinkedIn connections, with a new way of selling, a 21st century way of selling. And why do I feel that that's necessary? Well, because I've been in sales, right, since I was 7 years old, but professionally, right the way back to when I was 16 and, in the 80s. And I've seen sales change and transform beyond all recognition. Okay. And I know that you guys have got tons of experience as well of business and of life. And what have I got to offer? I've got to offer the benefit of 40 years or 5 decades, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s, 2020s of sales, of working with buyers and working with salespeople, working with salespeople, customers, buyers, prospects, clients at every level, from canvassing, knocking on doors, cold calling, through to running sales teams of 1,000 plus, 1,000 strong, and literally running businesses, to being a solopreneur sales coach, setting myself up from nothing and building that to over £1 million with clients all over the world, which is where I am today. So I've got some experience to pass on to you. And right now, there is a need, a big need for a new way of selling. Okay. And everyone's aware of it. And you're all here because you're curious about what Inception selling, Inception Sales Club is all about. So let's just spend a minute covering that. And then let's get into it, because this is not some pitch fest. Okay. I'm not creating a funnel here to get you in and upsell you to a lot of high ticket products. Okay. It's of no interest to me. I've got clients. Okay. I've got a great life here and I love what I do. But I want to create a community. And those of you that want to reach out to me and do some work with me, that's great. You can do so. But those of you that just want to come, get some value, get some tips, that's on offer. That's here for you to come and take free, all right, from me as part of my LinkedIn community. All right. And that's it. So we're not going to get into all the usual pitches and value stacks and offers and all that kind of crap. Okay. That's not what this is about. This is a genuine, transparent community, an initiative to give you the tools you need to get today's buyers buying from you. And it's all about, Inception selling is about getting prospects to buy, inspiring the buy, not closing the sale, inspiring the buy. Okay. And that's the biggest shift. We could talk about the cultural shift from the 1900s to the 21st century in terms of buying and selling. In the 1900s, salespeople had all the power and all the information. Information is power, knowledge is power. And customers therefore looked to salespeople for information, and that was powerful and valuable. Today, quarter of a century later, buyers have the power. They've got all the knowledge. It's all there on the internet. There's internet forums about buying and selling, prices, specifications, products, competitors. The buyers know more than ever before, and they know the same, if not more than we do. And they also know all about sales techniques, all about 1900 sales techniques, 20th century selling techniques. They know all about it. So they don't fall for it anymore. And even stuff that was first fashionable 10 years ago, everybody's wise to it because everybody's using it. So what you need now is you need a new transparent way of selling that gets people buying using psychology, using proven, I call it stealth persuasion. And it's neuroscience. Okay. What we're working with here is emotionally intelligent, modern day neuroscience, buying psychology, rather than fashionable tricks and tactics to manipulate people into buying. Okay. This is about the psychology of how we think, how we buy, what gets us feeling good, and the neuroscience behind it. So that's what Inception selling is about. So what I want to do today is, and you're welcome to pop your questions in the chat, by the way. I'm going to keep an eye on that. But what I'm going to do today is I'm going to run through a little introduction to the Inception selling framework. Okay. And you're going to hear 9 inception skills. I call them inceptions. 9 inceptions from a overall collection of over 100 inceptions, which are all, each inception is a skill, a psychological tactic to get today's buyer buying as their own idea without any convincing, persuading, or bullshit tactics, old school tactics that don't work anymore because everybody's wise to them. Okay, that's what it's about. And then I'm going to ask any questions that come up as I go, and then we're going to finish and be a maximum 1 hour. And you're welcome to come and go as you please, and you'll get the recording in the WhatsApp group. So this is about doing a weekly recording like this, and we'll do more Q&A as and introduce new stuff every week. So every week you're going to get fresh stuff, okay? And we'll do some live Q&A and work on some of your businesses live, so you can apply this stuff to you and personalize it. And then in the WhatsApp group you'll get the recordings, and then you can ask questions day to day, and you can get feedback. You can also get extra tools from me, cheat sheets, checklists, one pages, AI tools, all that kind of thing. And you can ask questions, and you can get all of that completely free of charge. All right. Zoom each week on a Sunday like this, WhatsApp day to day. Okay. Completely free of charge. And occasionally I'll say to you, if anyone wants to work with me, reach out. Anyone wants to talk to me about working together one on one to help you design your own sales process one on one, reach out to me. But that aside, I'm not interested in pitching. I'm interested in helping you guys to master 21st century selling. So you get 1 in every 2 prospects deciding to buy from you as their own idea. All right. With enough said, let's get into the sales club content. So I'm going to share my screen with you. Okay. Now, what you should be seeing here is you should be seeing the presentation I've done on gamma.app. And by the way, if any of you are still using PowerPoint, this is awesome. Gamma.app, it produces all your presentations for you. It'll even turn them into websites. And I think this is something like £10 per month for incredible, fast, high quality presentations, websites, visuals. And this is only my second or third attempt. I've only been using this for the last couple of weeks, but I've really got into AI this year. And there's no doubt about it. AI is absolutely a superpower for sales, for generating leads and for helping us make sales. It's never going to replace the humans who are good at sales. It's not going to replace the humans who master 21st century selling, but it will replace those who are stuck in the 1900s, still trying to generate leads and sales like it's 1999, right? With all the old tactics and all the old bullshit techniques. AI will just evaporate, wipe out the dinosaurs, but it will support those of us who are advancing and who are using new, current, modern methods to inspire people to buy. And so that's my first little recommendation. Gamma.app, brilliant for presentations. Anyway, rethinking sales, the power of Inception selling. Inception is an acronym. Now, where did I get this from? Well, I got it from that was inspired by the movie Inception in 2010 with Leo DiCaprio. And there's a quote in there that I'll come to in a second. Today's buyers don't want to feel sold to. They want to decide what, when, where, how, why, and from whom they buy as their own idea. Inception selling is about the power of idea. In the movie Inception, famous quote, what's the most resilient parasite? An idea. An idea in the human mind can change lives, can change history, can start wars, can make peace, can change the world. And once it's in, it's locked in, it sticks. And that's what Inception is about. It's about planting ideas in the subconscious of our buyers, ideas that grow, and then they decide to buy from us as their own idea. that sense of authorship that this skill allows you to implement. You create a sense of authorship. You plant the ideas in the mind of your buyers, and that idea you then water it. And I'll show you how. And they then decide. The epiphanies are, I need to do this, and it's as their own idea. They don't feel sold to. And this is really important because today's buyer won't believe half of what we say, half of what you say. You won't believe half of what I say now, right now. But what we never doubt is what we conclude. You'll never doubt what you conclude for yourself. Yeah. You'll doubt what I say, but you won't doubt what you conclude. And inception selling is a, is our skills that enable you to communicate in a way that get your buyers making the conclusions you want them to make. It's 100% ethical. There is no bullshit tactics, and there are no lies. There is no false or fake scarcity or urgency, no inflated prices and big discounts for only for today and all that sort of stuff. None of it. It's about psychology. It's about emotional intelligence. It's about neuroscience. All right, so let's get into it. So, what I've done today to give you a flavor of it is, and for the when I first introduced this to clients as well, is I give you Inception as a little model with the first 9 Inception skills. Inception 9, I call them. There's over 100 that you can use and learn, and you'll learn here. But today's about the first 9 in the form of the acronym Inception. All right. So without further ado, let's do that. Okay. So the first skill, the I, okay, in the Inception selling model, the I in Inception is about mirroring to create trust. It's about selling to identity. So the I is sales. The first sale we need to make is to the identity of our prospect. That's the first sale we need to make. Make no mistake. Yeah, you want to sell your products and your services, but before that, you have to sell to their identity, which means you have to connect authentically with them. And traditionally, the old school way of selling, the old school way of connecting with identity was to find small talk, find common ground. And it was often, well, almost always, in fact, insincere and forced rapport simulating, icebreaker chat. Yeah, that's what it was. Find something that you could discuss, current affairs, anything, right? Notice things about them, behavior, things they were that you have in common, photographs of their children, where they've been on holiday, the fact that you're both Def Leppard fans, I don't know, whatever. But it's bullshit. They know it and you know it. They don't want to be your friend. You don't want to be their friend. You don't care about each other's lives, but you want to have this pretense conversation of, oh, we've got this in common. We're so alike. Even if you use this today and you believe it still works, people are just playing along with you out of politeness. They want you to get down to business, but you still need to connect with people. So what's the alternative to all the small talk? And that is trigger automatic and authentic subconscious liking. Liking is one of the principles of persuasion according to Cialdini, 6 principles, or the 7 principles of persuasion. Liking. We connect and we buy from people we like. But it's true, it's more true to say we connect and we buy from people who are like us. Yes? Not who we just like. We don't buy from people we just like. We've got to respect them. We've got to think they can solve our problems. But really, if they are like us, that makes us want to buy from them. And that's the first sale. You want to get them wanting to buy from you first. So what you do is you become like them, right? That's the authentic skill. That's what you have. That's how you create authentic identity connection. Is when you first meet them. you notice their energy. Are they extrovert and animated and talking with you almost at the same time, at the same speed, at the same volume? Or are they introvert, more laid back? Do they think, then speak, then think? Or are they extrovert? They speak, then think, then speak. Are they more considered? Are they on their guard? Are they watching? Are they slower in their speech and their tonality? Quieter, calmer. Match the energy. Traditional selling is we impress them with our energy and we go in with all the passion and enthusiasm. That's not going to work if that's not how they operate. Match their energy. Don't force yours on them. Notice theirs and match it. Same with the tonality, the volume of their speech, the speed of their speech, the frequency of their speech. Match it. Now, I'm not saying copy everything they do. That's ridiculous. But subtly begin to match their behavior, their speed, their tone, their movement, their energy. And what happens is they will start to feel safe with you. And this is automatic. It's all down to the mirror neurons in the brain. Okay. And when you get to know me better, I can explain this brain science if you really want. I'm fascinated by it, but you don't need to know how it works. You just need to know that it works. Okay. It's a bit like, you switch on the light switch at home. You don't need to know how electricity works, all the wiring and all the rest of it. You just need to know that if you press the switch, the light comes on. You turn it back up, it goes off. It's the same with this. If you want to know the neuroscience, I can tell you. If you simply accept that the first thing you sell is your state. Right? So adopt their state. You become like them, and they start thinking, they're just like me. I like this person. I could buy from them. And that soon turns into, I want to buy from them. So that's number one, sell to identity. Mirror their energy and their behavior and their engagement style. And that builds authentic rapport with no techniques and no bullshit. Okay. That's the I. Okay. The N, Inception, in today, right? Today is 9 inceptions, 9 new skills. And you may have heard of some of these, but you've never heard them framed in the same way in combination with each other. And all of this stuff is proven beyond any shadow of a doubt over decades. Certainly in the last decade, since I've been working with clients one-on-one as a coach and in groups, this stuff outperforms every other tactic, technique, methodology of trying to sell and trying to get people to buy. These skills outperform all others. And the second one is N, no calibrated questions. The power of no. Okay? The power of no. Right? That's what this one's about. Power of no. Now, we've traditionally been taught in sales, right? Traditional old school selling is get them to say yes. Ask them questions that get them to say yes. And I even remember 1990 when I first got into insurance sales. I read Tom Hopkins, Mastering Sales, Tom Hopkins. It was all about trial closing, getting them to say yes. Isn't it? Wasn't it? Don't you? Can't you? Won't you? Yes, 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 yes. And it worked back then. But right now, if you're using all trial closes and questions, trying to force people to say yes, okay, they resent it. Now, they may even comply and say yes to you, but they'll be secretly saying no way to themselves. If you force them with your questioning and your trial closes, if you're pressuring them to say yes, they might comply, but they will be secretly saying no internally. Flip the script. Ask questions that get them saying no. Because when you allow somebody to say no, it gives them a sense of control. Okay? Gives them a sense of authorship. They feel like they decided. Feel like they've had choice. So you ask questions designed to elicit a genuine no. And it gives them the feeling of control and power that they crave. Today's buyers want control. Today's buyers want power. So you ask them questions that get them saying no instead of saying yes. Some examples. Instead of saying, would you like to know more? You say, are you against learning more? Instead of saying, does that sound like a good idea? Say, is that a bad idea? And say, no, it's not a bad idea. Instead of saying, is this a good time to talk? Ask, is this a bad time to talk? Instead of saying, do you agree we're better than the competition? Yeah, is this a feature you want? Ask, would you consider investing in a solution that didn't have this feature as standard? Instead of saying, if the price was right, would you go ahead? Ask, if we could get the price right and the long-term value was there, and the long-term value was greater than the price you invest, would you hesitate? No. So ask questions that get them saying no. It gives them a sense of power and control and authorship. They think they've had freedom to make the decision. And it's always a positive no. Is this a crazy idea? No. Do you have any objections if we do this? No. Are you against learning more? No. If we could get the value right and the investment was affordable, would you hesitate? No. It's a positive no. But you're not forcing them to say yes. And that subtle flip of the script changes everything neurologically. It gives people the sense that they're in control. They're not being forced to say yes. They're not being manipulated. And therefore, they're willing to say no. And when they give you a no, it's as their own idea. It's their own decision. So that's the end. Okay. Now we got any questions in the no questions so far. Okay. All right. Let's go on to the C in Inception. And what you'll notice from these skills, guys, is that these skills are almost all opposite, completely opposite to the traditional wisdom that we've been taught. Okay. And it's the traditional 1900s, 20th century wisdom. The 21st century sales, the Inception sales, is almost always diametrically opposite, 180-degree about turn on the traditional sales. And this one, the C, so the I is sell to identity, the N is ask no calibrated questions instead of yes calibrated questions. The C is close at the start, not at the end. The reason we get objections, you get objections, and typically salespeople get them at the end, right? 9 out of 10 salespeople get all the objections at the end of the sales conversation because that's the first place they close. Objections come out when you close. When you ask people to take action, that's when you get excuses, stalls, polite lies, and alibis, and these things we call objections. But what is an objection? An objection, there isn't really such a thing. It's either a complaint, you're too expensive, or an excuse, I need to think about it, or it's a question. I'm not sure this is right for me. Can you tell me why I should have this? It's a request for more information. Other than a complaint, an excuse, a request for more information, or a condition, I can't make the decision on this. I need to speak to somebody else who's not here. Right? A condition you can't control. Other than those, what is an objection? Right? Let's just dissolve it. It's just a response. Excuse, complaint, condition, request for more information. And they only usually come out at the end because that's the first place we ask for action. So all the requests for more information, the conditions, the excuses, and all the stalls and polite lies, the things that get in the way of the buyer wanting to go ahead, come out right at the end when it's too late. And then we end up with this, right, I'll come back to you. Okay, I'll wait for you to call me then. Yeah, and then we chase them and they go into hiding. They ghost us. So stop closing at the end. Close at the start. How? How do you close at the start? Agree desired outcomes early. Okay. Now, open with a close. Begin by establishing a clear agreement to seek one of two outcomes, a definite no or a definite next step. Make it safe for buyers to be upfront from the start. The number one goal of every sales conversation is to tell each other the truth. Now, here's how I do this today when I'm having a one-on-one chat with somebody is, and it's a conversation. I'll say to them, right, what do you want to accomplish in our meeting today? So this is how I close at the start, right? Take from this what you will, and in future weeks and in the WhatsApp group, you can ask questions about how to apply this to you, and I'll give you some pointers. But here's how I do it. It's a pure conversation, and these skills are so natural because I'm not forcing anything, right? I'm letting them make the decisions. So I'll say, right, what do you want to accomplish in our meeting today? What motivated you to meet with me? What do you want to achieve? What's the number one thing you want to achieve by the time we finish chatting? I'll get down their goals. Okay. Why is that important to you? Find out why they want to achieve that. How's that going to help you? Okay. How much time have you set aside for us to achieve that? All right. That should be enough. If it's not enough, I'll tell them and we'll rearrange or we'll just agree to have more time. But I'll get that out at the start. And I'll say, okay, so this is what you want to achieve. This is why it's important to you. This is what you want to accomplish today. Okay, cool. Now, I want to learn, and then I'll agree with them an agenda to achieve their goals. Okay, so first thing I want to do is I want to learn about all the challenges you're facing now when it comes to your sales. This is my conversation, right? So I'm talking about their sales. I want to find out all the challenges you're facing now when it comes to making sales, all the things that are in your way. I want to understand them fully, and if I can help you solve them, I'll tell you. If I can't, if at any point I've got any doubt that I can help you, I'll tell you straight. I'll say that I can't help you. I'll be completely honest. So is that okay if I say no to you if I can't help you? Nobody says, no, it's not okay. They all say, yeah, that's fine. And then I'll say to them, right, equally, if I can help you and I outline a game plan and I make you an offer, if you've got any doubts that that's right for you, if for any reason you don't think we're the right fit or there's anything that's not perfect about any proposal I make to you, do you have any problem saying no to me? No, no problem. Nobody ever says, yeah, I've got a problem saying no to you. Everybody says, no, I've got no problem saying no to you. Perfect. I can take a no as gracefully as a yes. But if we're not the right fit, if either of us have any doubt, let's agree to go no further, part as friends, but our door will always remain open to each other. Does that sound fair? Yeah. But if we don't say no to each other, does it make sense for us to agree a definite next step? Yeah, perfect. Great. Right. Tell me about your current sales. Where are you at? How do you work? And then into the discovery. But that's closing at the start. I've just got complete agreement to be totally honest with each other. I've made it safe for them to say no to me. And we've agreed that the outcome of the meeting is for us to say no, definite no, or a definite next step. By closing at the start like that, you remove all the think about it, all the excuses, all the stalls and polite lies that buyers hold on to and give you at the end. You remove all of that because they've now got permission to be honest with you and they don't feel awkward saying no to you. They feel safe saying no to you. That's the C in Inception. Close at the start, not at the end. Okay. Got some feedback coming in the chat now. You like these ideas, don't you? Yeah. Okay. I can see thumbs up. Right. Okay. Good feedback. Let's move on. I want to get this wrapped up in the next 30 minutes, guys, so you can take this away and then I'll give you the recording in the WhatsApp group. Okay, so that's the I in Inception is sell to identity. N is no calibrated questions. C, close at the start, not at the end. E, eliminate the status quo. That's your real competition, right? What do I mean by that? Okay, don't fixate on other providers or other competitors like you. Your biggest competitor is not another company and not another provider. Your biggest competitor is the buyer's inertia, the resistance to change. Your biggest competitor is the status quo. Your number one competitor is the idea in your client's mind that they don't have to act, that they can stay as they are. And right across the entire sales industry, whether it's B2C or B2B, the biggest reason that you don't make sales is that your prospects stay as they are. More prospects stay as they are than buy from your competitors or you combined. That's your number one competition, is the status quo, is them seeing you, having a discussion about getting from where they are to where they want to be, and then deciding they can stay as they are. That's your real competitor. So instead of trying to eliminate competitors or the other providers, eliminate the status quo first. How do you do that? You highlight the cost of inaction, COI. We often, it's like 20th century selling, 1900s selling, was sell the ROI, sell the return on investment. But today, most of your buyers don't believe your return on investment. I think it's exaggerated. It's fantasy. So selling the ROI, unless you're guaranteeing it, and you've got all the social proof to prove that you can give them that, and it's guaranteed, they're not going to believe it. And even if it is, before they believe the ROI, you need to talk about what happens if you do nothing, because that's your real competitor. And the only reason somebody will go ahead is if the cost of action is cheaper than the cost of inaction. So what you've got to do is make your solution cheaper than doing nothing over time, over the life of your solution. Okay? So the value of your solution over time and the cost of it has to be cheaper than staying as they are over time. In money, time, and emotional value. So focus on the potential losses of sticking with the status quo. Qualify and quantify the negative impact of not addressing the challenges in money, time, and pain versus pleasure. Now, I've got a little formula that I've created and perfected over last 10, 12 years for doing this, a question formula, which is called Persuade. It's called Persuade with Questions. And it's another acronym. I love my acronyms, all right? And I can put this in the WhatsApp group for you. Those of you who are interested, just type in the comments in the chat now, Persuade. I'll send it to you. I'll put it in the WhatsApp group. And Persuade is problem. That's the P is problem. E is effect. R is root cause. S is story, the story of the problem. U is urgency. Why do they want to solve it? Why can't they continue? What's made this problem big enough for them to want to do something about it now? What happens if they do nothing and they wait? How does that look? How does that feel? That's urgency. A is aspirations. What do you want in place of the problem? What do you want instead of the problem? Drivers is why you want that instead of the problem. Yeah. And E is evaluation. What's the value of solving this problem and moving you from where you are to where you want to be? What's the value of the solution you're looking for? What's the cost of the problem if you stay with it and do nothing versus the value of getting you to the solution? What's the cost of doing nothing and staying as you are versus the value of solving that problem once and for all and putting you in the solution state and your desired outcome state? What's the value of getting you there? That psychological gap, that's the Persuade model. Just like the Inception acronym, I've got questions that you can personalize and make your own to give you that little Persuade model. And it takes them from pain to pleasure. It creates a psychological gap between where they are and where they want to be. And that's what makes people buy. The psychological gap between where they are and where they want to be. The bigger that is, the more urgency there is for them to get from where they are to where they want to be. Is to bridge the gap. The bigger the gap, the more urgency there is to act. The bigger the gap, the more desire there is to act. And the bigger the gap, the more valuable the bridge. Because your products, your services are only ever a bridge. They never buy your products or services because they want them. They want the outcome of them. Don't sell what you do, sell what you cause. Your product and services are a bridge. Nobody wants sales coaching. Nobody wants sales training. If I try and sell that, I waste my time. People want to earn their target income. People want to close 1 in 2 of their prospects so they can earn their target income and live their life style that they want and feel fulfilled and pay all the bills and upgrade their life. That's what they want. They want the outcome of sales coaching. They don't want sales coaching. Same with your products. What's the outcome? Sell what you cause. But start by selling against the COI. What happens if you do nothing? What happens if you stay as you are? What's this problem costing you to be where you are right now? What's the value of getting you to the solution versus the cost of staying as you are? When you establish the cost of inaction, you don't need to try and force action with discounts or fake scarcity or special offers because the urgency comes from them. The fear of staying as they are is greater than the fear of change. And the biggest reason people stay as they are is because the fear of change is bigger than the fear of staying as they are. So that's the E in Inception. Eliminate the status quo. Okay. I, sell to identity. N, no calibrated questions. C, close at the start. E, eliminate the status quo. We're halfway there. Okay. We're halfway there, guys. All right. Now, so I've got about 15 minutes by my estimation to get through PTION. Let's see how we do. All right. I've got lots of good comments coming through here. You love what I'm taking you through, guys. I've got a few questions as well. But what I want to do is, if I get into the individual questions now, this will become another hour. So what I'm going to do is I save the chat feed from Zoom. So I will get the chat feed sent to me in an email after this, and I'll take up your questions in the WhatsApp group, right? So that's what we'll do. I'll answer them all there. And on future sessions, we'll allow more time for live Q&A. But right now, I want to give you these takeaways. So with the questions we got, let's do them in the WhatsApp group. That's okay. Thank you. Right, PTION in the Inception model. And by the way, these are only 9 skills of the over 100 total Inception skills that get your buyers, prospects buying into their own idea. As I say, each of these skills is a flip of the script from a traditional tactic or technique that used to work back in the day, but doesn't work with today's buyers. Okay. Now, the P is price versus value. Shift the focus. If you don't, everybody talks online. See it on all the social media platforms. I only really use LinkedIn today, but I've got all the other platforms I have a look at. But everywhere I go, I say sell value, sell value. You got to sell value, but nobody says, and here's how. Or if they do, it's crap, right? They're fake. They don't know what value is. They're copying somebody else's content, or they've watched a podcast and got inspired, and they're regurgitating this information without ever having used it. Okay. I'm like you. I've lived this stuff and still do now. I know what the difference between price and value is, right? Price is what you pay, value is what you get. Price is the outlay, value is the payback. It's about direction. Price goes out, value comes back. That's the most simplistic term. Price is what we pay in our money, which is the wrapped up reflection of our effort from the past. Value is future. Price is past. Value is future. So if we can't flip the conversation, and not at the end, most of this is left to the end. We give them the price and then the objections start and we try to start selling value. Then it's too late. The game is over. And we often haven't even moved our buyers from lies to honesty by the end. So we're getting polite lies and excuses and we're trying to then flip it to value. It's too late. It's like playing golf and trying to land your second shot from the fairway in the hole on the green. You're not going to achieve it. You've got to get up there and do it gradually, step by step. Okay. So what's the difference? How do you do it? Discuss their experience of value versus price. Discuss their own true stories of how value can perform against price. Find out about the history of their investments in the area of your product or service. What have they invested before? in your product, or in a product or service like yours, in your industry, a solution like yours? What did they get in return for that? Did they get more back than what they put in? Was it the right decision? Did it solve all their problems and get them from their problem state to their desired future state? Did it give them more financial value over time, more money back over time than what they outlaid? Did it create more time from them? Did it solve their pain and create more pleasure? Did it give them the emotional value? Because value is felt in three ways: money, time, and emotion. Open up the discussion from the past between what they paid and what they got. Let's go for the reality. What's their experience of price versus value? That's how you start getting the conversation going. And then quantify your value. Quantify it. Calculate for them and communicate the lifetime value your solution offers. What's the lifetime value that your solution creates in money, time, and positive emotions versus the negative emotions they're feeling now? And put those together to demonstrate a compelling return on investment versus doing nothing. What does the long-term value of your product or solution in money, time, and positive emotion look like compared to doing nothing and staying as they are? And what's the costs of staying as they are versus the costs of your solution? Your solution costs less over time than staying as they are, gives them more money, creates more wealth over time than staying as they are, creates more time in their life, and creates more positive emotions than staying as they are. You've moved them from price to value. But if they can't see the money, the time, and the emotional payback over time that they're going to get from your solution versus what they invest, they will stay as they are. Okay, that's the process. Now, adding on to that to make it stronger, be absolutely clear about the outcomes you create. Show them your social proof. Have tons of social proof to give them no doubt that you can get them from where they are to where they want to be. Guarantee outcomes. I guarantee all my clients a minimum 10x ROI. I guarantee them that they will make additional sales that equal at least 10 times what they pay me in coaching. So the sales coaching is never an expense. It's only ever an investment with a minimum 1000% profit. That's what I guarantee. And if they don't get a 10x return in 60 days, I'll coach them for free until they get it. Now that's a representation of value. You're going to get 10 times back in the next 2 months what you invest in coaching. Can you afford to stay as you are? What can you create? How does your solution compare to doing the cost of doing nothing? And what guarantees are you going to give them about the future payback that you're going to create in their life? Time, money, and positive emotions. And make no mistake, if you can't represent value in money alone, you represent it in the time that your solution creates and saves, or emotions. And make no mistake, emotional ROI, emotional value is just as powerful as financial value. I was talking to a client the other day who was talking to me about this and bouncing back to me and saying, this is so true. I just bought a BMW for £58,000. And I could buy any other car. I could buy a run-of-the-mill car for 25 grand. It gets me from A to B. Functionally, it does exactly the same job, but I wouldn't sit in it. I wouldn't dream of having that car. I paid 58,000 because of how a BMW makes me feel. It's all emotional value. So don't worry if your solution or your product hasn't got a great financial payback over time, but if it gives them an emotional payback that's huge versus doing nothing, that's just as powerful. Because at the end of the day, none of us ever buy products or services. We don't buy objects, we buy feelings. Every decision we make is in the pursuit of a feeling. That's the ultimate thing we're buying. How's it going to make me feel? So emotional value is as big, if not bigger, than financial value. Learn how to start the discussion on value early. So you move their brain from thinking about price outlay today to lifetime value creation. When you get them thinking from today's spend that way to lifetime value coming this way, all of a sudden they're less focused on price and more focused on value. There's the P, the price versus value. Shift the focus. Okay, right now the T. So again, Inception, Inception 9. Sell to I, send to identity. N, no calibrated questions. C, close at the start. E, eliminate the status quo. P, price versus value. Understand it. This one, T, transformation before transportation. Okay. Prove your impact. What's that mean? Most, it's the same thing again. 21st century selling, demos, product demos, sell the product. That's the transportation. Selling the product first is selling the transportation. A product demo. Let me tell you all about the product, about the service. It does this, it does this. That's the transportation from where they are to where they want to be. But before you sell the transportation, before they care how they're going to get there, you need to sell the transformation. What does getting there look like and feel like? It's like when we go, when we shop around for a holiday, we get online. It used to be travel agents. I remember. I'm an 80s kid, right? It used to be travel agents. We'd look at all the brochures and we'd go in and we'd see, and the assistant would say, would you want this? And we'd look at, they wouldn't talk to us about flights first. They'd show us pictures of the beach. They'd put us on the beach with a cocktail in our hand. Yeah, they'd put us on the tours. They'd put us in the hotel, right? They'd put us at the bullfight. You see my age coming out now. That's what they did. They'd put us there in the destination. They'd sell the transformation. Then they'd say, "You like that? Okay, the flights are from Manchester or Liverpool. What's a good time? Right, you're going to get economy, or you blah, 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 blah. Then you get picked up at the airport. You get taken to the hotel. They'll then sell the transformation. Sorry, sell the transportation second. They'd sell the holiday schedule second. They'd sell the features second after the transportation. So this is the same thing here. Sell the transformation before you sell the transportation. How? How do you do that? You do it with your social proof, right? Leverage short form video testimonials to showcase the positive impact you've had on others. Get your customers telling the story for you. Right now, today, you've got to have a ton of social proof. Now, I anticipate one of the questions that might come to some of you, if you're starting from nowhere, is how do I get it? We're going to do that in the WhatsApp group. I faced exactly that challenge 10 years ago when I first started. I left Everest, the home improvement people, where I'd been a really successful internally in that community. I was well known. I was a big player. But as soon as I left and became a self-employed sales coach, nobody knew me. I was an unknown. I had to start from scratch. I had to get social proof from zero, and I knew nothing about the online world. I had to invest in coaching, the first thing I did was I got social proof, and I had it within days. Within a month, I had tons of social proof, and it helped me. It made such a difference. I can show you how to do it. Ask me in the WhatsApp group, and I'll show you how I did it, and I'll tell you how to do it for you. But you can't succeed without it. And the number one form of social proof is short form video. 1 minute videos. Why? Because that's everywhere right now. Shorts are everywhere. The fastest growing online platform is LinkedIn. Okay. It's not LinkedIn. But even LinkedIn's going short form video direction now. Fastest growing platform is TikTok, short form video. YouTube, shorts. Facebook, Instagram, shorts. Short video is the number one content format in the world, and people are making it. So people are used to consuming it, right? It's part of our psychology today. So you need short form videos of your clients, existing clients, saying, before I worked with Paul, this is what happened. Before I worked with Paul, my sales were this. I was so frustrated. I wasn't sure about investing in a sales coach. I really didn't know what to believe. There's so much sales advice. It's like, who do you believe? And there's so many fakes out there. I invested with Paul. I did this. These were my results. I got it fast. I got these guarantees. This was the outcome. It's completely changed. It's a transformation. I've got I've got absolutely no worries. I tell you what, if you're feeling like I was, you got the worries I had, you're not alone. Gotta say, have a call with Paul. It's the best thing I've ever done. Blah, blah, blah. Thank you. That's it. 1 minute. You need a ton of them. And then you can show them to your prospects. And you can choose which ones to show your prospects based on choosing people like them, people they can relate to, people they can identify with, people they can respect. They're going to believe their story about you more than they'll believe your story about you. So have video. Secondly, have written recommendations. LinkedIn's a perfect recommendation system. And again, when I started, I had none. Got 60 plus now. How do you do it? Take that in the WhatsApp group. I'll show you how. I'll show you how I did it. The exact examples. And thirdly, third form of social proof is DMs. If you've got DMs, WhatsApp DMs, Messenger DMs, messages sent to you by clients. Hey, Paul, made a sale today, 15 grand using the techniques we did on yesterday's call. Brilliant. Thank you. That's perfect social proof to show clients, because that's real stuff, uninvited, unstaged. Yeah. Natural, authentic, unprompted social proof, the form of DMs and messages from clients. That's incredible proof. So tailor your product demos to match each prospect's unique challenges and goals. Once you've done the transformation, then move into the product. Once you've sold the transformation with your social proof, your buyers will then want to see the product. They'll want to see how you get them there. But until they believe the transformation that you can make, until they're excited about that, they won't be interested in the transportation. Do not do your product demo first. Sell the transformation, then the transportation. And then personalize your product demos, your service, walk them through your process, walk them through your presentation of how you get them there, your transportation. Personalize it to their problems. Don't just have a standard presentation you give everyone. That won't hit home. It's not Inception. That's just trying to sell everyone with the same demo. Personalize it. You said this was a problem to you. We will do this. We will solve that problem in this way. Here's how we'll do it. You said this was a challenge. Here's how we'll do that. You said you wanted to achieve this goal. Here's how we'll make that happen for you. You said we will. You said we will. Instead of feeling this, you're going to feel this. Instead of having this pain, you're going to have this pleasure. You said we will. Instead of you will. That's how you do your product demo. You match it personally to them. You make it feel personalized. So it's not the same pitch everybody gets. You sell a transformation first, then the transportation second. And they're 10 times as interested in the product demo, in your solution demo, once they're sold on the transformation. So that's the T. So transformation first. Okay, now we got ION, right? Inception, sell to identity. I, no calibrated questions. N, close at the start, not the end. C, E, eliminate the status quo. P, price versus value. T, sell the transformation before the transportation. I is if. I stands for if. How to address objections proactively. Use if questions to isolate blocks to buying and conditions needed for buying. So after you've done your discovery, you're selling the transformation, you're moving them from price to value, just your presentation of how you're going to create value for them long term, what they get, the financial value, the time value, the emotional value. You've sold the transformation. You've then sold the transportation. You've matched your product demo to their problems and their goals, and you've personalized it. Now, what you want to do before you put the final quotation or price together is you want to find out where they're at, how they feel, how ready they are to buy. You don't want to wait till the end to find that. You want to know now. So how do you do it? You use the word if. If is the smallest, one of the smallest words, if not the smallest words you're ever going to use in sales, with the biggest impact. Because if means, let's pretend. If means supposing. If means what might happen if we did this? What could be? If is about possibilities. It's also hypothetical. So it's safe. It's safer to answer a hypothetical question than it is a real question. So if is powerful. So once you've done your transformation and transportation, they've got the vision of the transformation. They believe you can get them from where they are to where they want to be. They want to get there. They want you to get them there, and they believe in the system, your product, to get them there. Now it's a case of understanding how ready they are to proceed. So if is perfect. So here's one way I do it. I'll say, okay, let's just revisit our agenda. So I do a little recap. We agreed your goals for today's meeting were this, this, and this. How well have we achieved those so far? I get them telling me how much progress we've made. Okay, what questions have I answered that you had on your mind? This is about getting them doing the talking, not me. I want them talking, because persuasion doesn't happen when I'm talking. That's an old 1900s belief. The better the pitch, the more they buy. No, dominate the listening today, not the talking. Get them talking. Persuasion happens when they're talking. So how much progress have we made on that? Have I answered all your questions? Okay. How satisfied are you that I understand your problem? How satisfied are you that I can solve it for you? How satisfied are you that I can get you to where you want to be? You've seen my client videos, my client recommendations. How satisfied are you I can give you the solutions you want and need in the time you need them to happen? Okay, and you've also seen the process. I've took you through the process and how I'm going to get you there. My framework for personalizing this to you and making this happen in your business, in your life. How satisfied are you in that process? And they need to be saying, I'm satisfied. If they're not, you've got some recapping to do. Yeah, I'm completely satisfied. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to put this together for you in a proposal. I'm going to walk you through the proposal, how it all works, what's included, and then the investment that you need to make to get started versus the value you're going to get and all the guaranteeables that I'm going to deliver. Okay. Now, and that's the point where I'll ask you, what's a good next step for you? And then we'll have a discussion about what's a good next step. What's the right next step for you? Okay. Terrific. Now, if that works out perfect for you and you think that's a perfect game plan, the value long term is there, and the investment today is affordable to you, what's a good next step for you? Well, the financials are right, the money's right, and I can afford it. I'm ready to go ahead. You've just achieved a sale. You know they're going to buy if the value in the numbers is right. If they say, well, no, what's a good next step is I'll think about it. Terrific. Excellent. Let's just break that up and unpack that. Okay. As to what you'll need to consider so that when we next speak, I'll know what questions you might have. Tell me what you want to go through in your mind and what you need to consider. Let's just run through that now and then unpack it now. Unpack it before you give the final proposal. Use if questions as a way of getting remaining doubts and objections out before you present your offer, not after. Do not try and get them buying after you've made your offer. It should be easy, the end of the presentation, the sales conversation. It should be easy. There should be no convincing or persuading. Use the word if before you present your proposal to frame the question. If the proposal works out perfect for you in every way and makes sense financially and in guaranteeables and deliverables, What's a good next step for you? If they don't say, we'll be ready to, if it makes sense, I'm ready to go ahead, you need to find out why. Because if you don't, that will remain an excuse at the end. And you won't have time to cover it. Whereas now you've got the time. And you've also, remember, agreed that no is safe. They're safe to say no to you. They're safe to be honest with you. So they're going to be honest here and relax because you've already established that. So use if to flush out any remaining uncertainty, because that's all objections are. It's uncertainty. And your job is to create a feeling of certainty. That's what gets people buying, feelings of certainty. Okay? That's the I. Now, the O, so Inception, Inception. Sell to identity, no calibrated questions. Close at the start, not the end. Eliminate the status quo. Price versus value. Sell transformation before transportation. If there's only two left, objections and next steps. O, objections, and next steps. The O is when you have presented your proposal, when you've been through the proposal, you've given them the numbers, you've given them the deliverables, you've spelt out the long-term value, you've been through the guarantees of the return on investment and the outcomes you're going to give them versus the investment today. You've proven that the cost of action is less than the cost of inaction. You've proven that their long-term value is greater than their investment. And you've said to them, what's a good next step for you? If the response to that isn't, let's get started. What do we do next? How do we go forward? Right? Then you're going to get, well, a good next step is you might still get, because none of this is guaranteeing you 100%. My guarantee to you is that using Inception as it is your sales methodology will get one in every two of your prospects buying as their own idea without any convincing or persuading. One in every two. That's 50%. That's the result of my clients and my results. I can't achieve more than that. I can't get 100%. Anyone that tells, any coach or trainer that tells, or mentor that tells you you get 100% is a liar. You can't. Can for a week, but not for permanently. Okay. One in two is what you will achieve with this approach today. And why is that a game changer? Because the average is 1 in 4, 1 in 5, 1 in 6. This process flips the script and gets 1 in 2 buying instead of 1 in 6 feeling sold to. Okay. So 1 in 2 will buy. It won't get you 100%. So some will still have some objections. And how do you handle them? Well, the first thing is use a mirror or a label or both instead of trying to overcome and handle objections. Traditional 1900s, 20th century selling is overcome objections, handle objections. That's a waste of time today. Waste of time. Get them to overcome their own objections. If by this stage in the conversation they can't overcome their own objections, forget it. If what you've given them is not powerful enough for them to say, well, do you know what? I've got worries about this and this, but having said that, you've given me the, if they can't weigh it up for themselves and you've followed all of the previous steps I've been through, they're never going to buy from you. So no objection handling and objection overcoming is ever going to help. But what will are two techniques, mirroring and labeling. And one is mirror back the objection they're given. It's a lot more than I thought. It's a lot more than you thought. Just mirror it back. It's a lot more than you thought. Yeah, I was thinking such and such, or it's just a lot of money compared to what I was thinking. Then you use a label, which is to say, sounds like, seems like, feels like, sounds like you're comparing it with something. Yeah, I'm comparing it with what sounds like you're comparing it with either another provider or an idea you had in your head, or sounds like you're comparing it with what's affordable. Then you'll get the real reason. So use these skills. These are FBI hostage negotiation skills that I learned from Chris Voss's book, Never Split the Difference, mirroring. Mirror back when they say, I need to think about it. You need to think about it. Yeah, it's a big decision. I've got a lot of things to consider. Sounds like you've got a good reason for saying them. There's a label now. And now they'll come out and tell you more, and often will answer their own uncertainty. We need them to answer their own uncertainty, not us. Point them back using mirrors and labels. Repeat back exactly what they say, reflect it back to them, and they will open up more and give you more information. And often they'll say, but then, we talked about the value I'm going to get. There's, but it sounds like the value's not there for you. Sounds like you've got some doubts about this. And often you can then recap a part of the discussion you've had before to dissolve that uncertainty. So use mirrors and labels to help them dissolve their own objections rather than you trying to overcome them. That's the O. And the final piece is N in Inception. Next steps. Okay? Next steps. Talk about clear next steps. There's only ever 3 options anybody's got, any buyer has got in any industry, B2B or B2C. There's only 3 choices we've got. Do nothing. Shop around and get other quotes and buy from a competitor. Or get started and buy from you. Can you think of another option? Doesn't matter what you sell or who you sell it to. There's only those 3 choices. Either I do nothing, I don't buy it. I get some other quotes from other providers and then buy from someone else. Or I get started and I buy from you. So have a discussion. If at this point, right after you've been through everything, you've used all these skills, they're still saying, I'm not sure. You say, no worries. I'm here to work with you. We agreed we'd say no to each other, or we'd agree a definite next step. Yeah, that's what we agreed. So is it a no? I'm happy for you to say no to me if it's a no. We're part as friends, and my door will always remain open. No, it's not a no. Okay. So what's a good next step? You've got 3 options. Okay to discuss. Yeah. First option is do nothing. You stay as you are. Right? Stay as you are. You've lived with this problem for so long. You can tolerate it for a bit longer, or indefinitely if you wish. If you had to, you could. Secondly, you take what I've said today and what I've proposed to you, and you compare it with other providers, and you find out what other options and offers will give you versus mine in terms of long-term value. And I absolutely support that if that's what you'd like to do. Third is we get started. You place a deposit today, or you use our payment plan or whatever, we get started. We book our first session, we start working together. We get your transformations, you got all your guarantees in place. We solve your problems once and for all and make your dreams a reality. We start that now, right now. Now let's do them one at a time. Doing nothing, staying as you are. How attractive is that as an option to you? Shut up and let them talk. And they'll talk themselves out of it. Right? The second one, shopping around, seeing other providers, making sure you can't get the same as me for cheaper elsewhere. How attractive is that as an option to you? And they'll talk themselves out of it. If you're genuinely excellent at what you do and you're offering proven value, you've got the right social proof, you've got the right guarantees, you're giving value, they will talk themselves out of it. And you say, right, so what does that leave? Okay. Does it make sense for you to get started? Is it the right decision? Now, you've not talked them into it. They have talked themselves into it. And 50% of them will say no. I guarantee you 50% rejection with this. 1 in 2 will say, no, it doesn't make sense. And then he says, you know what? That's great. Thank you. And I wish you every success. My door's always open. And you don't need to chase them. And they don't need to hide from you. You part as friends. You don't have to lower your status chasing them. You agree there's no more action necessary. And the other one will say, let's do it. That's the experience of this. So there's Inception. There's your instruction. There's the laser coaching on Inception. A bit longer than 1 hour, guys, but 1 hour 15. Okay. Wasn't too bad, was it? I did deliver. Okay. Now, want to learn more? Well, this is all about the questions you've got. And if anybody wants to work personally with me, reach out to me. But for now, my advice is use the WhatsApp group. Use this free group that we've created, Inception Sales Group. Use the WhatsApp group. Take the recording of this, which I'll post in the WhatsApp group. Watch it. Re-listen. Think about how to apply it to you. Ask questions. I'll give you answers. Any other tools or resources you need, let me know. I'll get them across to you. DM me on LinkedIn if you want to chat personally. That's fine. We can have a chat anytime. Okay? Here to help. Hope you found it valuable. Love your thoughts. Love your feedback. Thank you for your time. Every success. See you same time next week. Thank you.